to CHRAJ. So let's start. So the first one is that the notice of expression of interest did not meet due process and good corporate governance standards. I think that is very obvious. What we've shown you is that we went through a process starting in 2018. It was approved by the board. In 2018, once we started the process, we went through each and every stage. The board set up a hotel steering subcommittee, which helped with it. There was an independent transaction advisor. We then went to international competitive tender for a transaction advisor and also for the strategic investor. That is good corporate governance. And it's been nothing short of that. The petition says that the notice was hurriedly issued with a preconceived outcome. Again, that is wrong. It's far from the truth. If you start something in 2018 and go through all the processes, it can't be really described as being hurriedly put together with a preconceived outcome. You can't really determine the outcome when you put something out there on competitive tender and advertise in the local and international newspapers and on the PPA website. In fact, this was even raised in Parliament a few years back. When I attended the Parliamentary Accounts Committee, the non-performance of our hotels was raised as an issue, and we addressed it by saying that we're looking for strategic investors. So there's nothing that has been hurried, there's nothing that has not been transparent about this. The third point is that the transaction with Rock City Hotel contradicts SSNIT's initial request for expression of interest, and that is inaccurate as well. Totally inaccurate. All the rules were set at inception, including the lotting and all the processes, and the outcome is what we see today. The fourth point, financial performances of Labadi Hotel and Ridge Royal indicate healthy business interests. I think I've shown you what the profitability of Ridge Royal is. I think that for Labadi, we have highlighted that, yes, it is profitable, but the returns for us are below where we think they should be. And hence, that is part of the process. The fifth point, SSNIT's statutory obligations to pensioners are at risk, with recent reports raising concerns about SSNIT's ability to meet future obligations due to mismanagement. Again, that is inaccurate, very far from the truth. We've been through the ILO report, and we've highlighted the measures that we continue to take to ensure the sustainability of the scheme. In fact, this process really underpins the fact that we are working on improving the sustainability of the scheme. No portfolio in the investment world is static. Then I'm not sure you can talk about any such portfolio. I really can't see a pension fund that will sit down and not touch anything within the portfolio. So things have to change. Portfolios have to be dynamic. And so we must always bear that in mind. SSNIT, just as we are doing now, will in future consider divestment of shares, be they listed or be they unlisted. It's part of the process. Likewise, we will look to acquire, and indeed, we have been acquiring shares of listed companies. During the recapitalization of the banking sector, we added significantly to our shares in Société Générale, which is a very strong and thriving bank. We added to our shares in Fidelity Bank. We are the largest domestic shareholder in that, same for Société Générale. We added to our shares in Republic Bank. We are the largest domestic shareholder there, again, a thriving bank. We are the largest domestic shareholder after the government in Ghana Commercial Bank. We are a shareholder in Standard Chartered. We are the largest domestic shareholder in MTN. That is a dynamic portfolio. So we can't just sit on our hands and do nothing. We are constantly changing things within the portfolio. If anything at all, the liquidity of the market probably doesn't allow us to do that as much as we would. So that is a point that I want to raise. This process of managing funds for the sustainability of the scheme is a dynamic one, and so it should be. Concerns about job security, again, that is very much misplaced. If we are going to see the refurbishment of the hotels and an expansion of some of the hotels, it rather creates more jobs. So again, I don't see how that is consistent with what we are doing. I think there's also been the issue about us treating the hotels differently. I'm not exactly sure what is meant here, but it says SSNIT initially treated all 6 hotels uniformly, disregarding their individual circumstances until faced with agitations. I think again that is wholly inaccurate. The process was laid out at inception and has been transparent to date. The valuation of the hotels was done by an independent transaction advisor with consistent methodologies all through. The assessments and evaluations were done per the procurement rules. And nothing that has been raised with regards to terms of payments is different from what SSNIT itself has assessed internally. And as I said, the process is ongoing and we are engaging all stakeholders. We are accused of acting arbitrarily, capriciously, okay, more English, or in a biased manner in its investments and divestments of decisions. Again, in my view, it's just not accurate. I'm not too sure what I can say about the words capricious and biased, but again, it's just not accurate. So we must really note that whatever we do at SSNIT, we have a set of investment guidelines that have been approved by the NPRA, and that guides what we do. Allegations of corruption, lack of transparency, cronyism, lack of value for money, deception, procurement breaches, accountability, graft against board and management of SSNIT. I think for that one, it looks as though we were looking at every other single thing that was around and put it together. But none of that applies. It's been transparent, free of corruption, and indeed very consistent with corporate governance rules and standard and corporate governance practice. So, ladies and gentlemen of the press, I'm very pleased that you've taken the time to attend this press conference. I will conclude as I started, that SSNIT offers the best proposition with respect to pensions in the country. We are committed to ensuring the sustainability of the scheme. We are going to implement investment policy and strategy that would improve returns, and we continue to do so, and also manage the risks of the portfolio. We are going to manage the costs of SSNIT and ensure that we are more cost efficient. And just as importantly, we'll continue to engage all stakeholders, And we cannot really forget the issue about engaging the government on indebtedness. That is an ongoing discussion that we are having with governments. And for employers, that dialogue also continues. So ladies and gentlemen of the press, thank you very much for your time. We're very grateful for you being here. I think we'll take questions now.
Please subscribe to Morris TVGH.